Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where we do finish off the season today and pretty much everything is sorted out at this stage, except for one thing: who wins League One? Because since we last met, the Lincoln and Charlton draw and win, we've had a little bit of patchy form. 1 win, 1 loss, 3 draws. Draws are the order of the day at the moment. Seemingly, we have had 6 in the last 9 games. 1-2, lost 1 in the other 3. Which would have been a little bit more problematic had Ipswich not had a similar run of form, losing to Crawley, who were barely just out of the relegation spots. They also lost to Peterborough, just like we did. They finished their season with Doncaster and Wycombe, as you just saw there. We finished with Oxford away and Fleetwood at home. They are both not doing too well this year. 17th for Oxford, 22nd for Fleetwood. We play them on the final day and they're already confirmed relegation at this stage. Like I say, not a lot to sort out. Shrewsbury with the slimmest of slim chances of getting out the relegation spots. Got to overhaul a 4-point deficit in the remaining 2 games. Similar situation for Lincoln in 8th. Only realistically Peterborough can nick the spot away from Bolton and that's about it. Promotion has already been sorted for both ourselves and Ipswich. It's 1 point separating the pair of us. Sonny Perkins remains the best player in League One. Beereth has taken the top goal scorer in the league as well. I have secured their services for another year. The confirmation for Perkins hasn't gone through yet, but we will have him another year. And Beereth 100% locked in for another year. I figured I'd act early on those two. But we'll hop straight into the Oxford game. We've got obviously the end of season stuff to get sorted as well. After being warned about Fleming's potential suspension for about 3 months, he finally got that final yellow card that he needed to do that. 2 games from the end of the season is the suspension for that one. So he will be back for the final game. Injury-wise, Andre Wisdom's had an injury, Temena Zukov's had an injury, and Matt Jay's had an injury as well. He's not quite back for this one. Otherwise, we're pretty much good to go. Roos is going to be in goal. Caprice is going to take the left-back role just because he's better than the actual left-back that we have. He will play it inverted. Now I know he's a right-footed player. Mbete, Stubbs, Key, Morton, Ramirez, Perkins, Sinclair, Ince and Beereth up front. I have seen that inverted wingbacks are powerful on this year's game engine. I do think there is a problem, though, using one in my formation. And that is the fact I think the inverted wingback is going to be getting in the way of the Volantes to a degree, but Caprice is just a better player and better performer than Jack Sparks, who is my backup left back. What a season recovery for Tom Ince, by the way. 12 assists, 5 goals in the end. Bear in mind, after the first 12 games of the season, he was on a 6.6 average rating. As this team talk has just reminded me, we can technically win the title today, but it does require us to win and Ipswich to lose. If Ipswich draw and we win, it's effectively ours, but not 100%. Goal difference is massively in our favour still. And that's not great work from their Oxford team there. It's kind of just bounced off one of their players and we've taken advantage. Tom Ince on this right-hand side managed to get the ball in and Perkins should have done better. But yeah, when you've got a midfielder scoring 20 goals in a season, I'm damn sure going to be getting him back for the next one. Oxford playing a semi-meta formation as well here. 4-3-1-2. It's only marginally off. Let's see how it works against our relatively high-performing formation. Although they've got a player through there. Roos saves a shot, which is nice. I've not been overwhelmed by Roos's performance over the course of the season. As you may have noticed, even conceding in those games that we've absolutely trashed opponents in hasn't necessarily endeared him to me. But he's a good goalkeeper. Whether we'll stick with him next year, that was remarkable that even was on target, quite frankly. The resulting save was even more remarkable. I suspect I'll be looking for a new goalkeeper next year, but if I don't get one, I'm not going to be too annoyed. But Perkins to Sinclair, back to Perkins. Of course, Ramirez will actually retire at the end of this year, so we will be a player down in that position, but he has declined physically to the point where he's 2.5 stars anyway at this stage. So he's no better on paper than players like Fleetwood Town and fractionally better than Dieng. Tyler Morton, I'm still a bit 50-50 on whether I'll get him back. He's not performed fantastically this year. In fact, none of them have in that position. That midfield very much being bailed out by the central midfielder. Second half, an hour in now, and they've got a free kick, which is saved by Roos, and Key, thankfully, is first to it. All my backline, apart from Key, booked at this stage. And Sinclair has just been injured, so that's good news for nobody involved because Matt Jay is not available. Just remembered that Ramirez actually has some capability as an inverted winger, so we'll put him there, and Fleetwood Town will come on. That's an actually easier change than I was expecting to do there. Scott Sinclair not getting any younger either. There's a few concern spots in this squad currently going into next year, and where we've got to compete with championship level players, which is why I secure Perkins and Beereth down straight away because they are regarded as such. As for the finances, we've been given £75,000 a week, which is 25 grand more than we're paying now, and will be a solid 3.5 million less than anyone else in the championship per year. Curtis has got through and should have scored because Roos, once again, I've not checked this yet, and I've just noticed that Key's injured as well now, which is not helpful. McLaughlin is back from his injury, and I barely played him. In fact, Perkins' legs had just gone off as well, so I'll bring Collins on. He did well in the absence of Perkins. I'm not overly fussed by the League One title, but it'd still be annoying if I lose it at the end. At the start of the season, I said I'd be happy with playoffs, so the fact we've got automatic promotion is remarkable, but that's just annoying. Is it an FMing? Not quite, actually. Fairly even game. It should be a draw. That won't go to any Oxford player. Caprice will get this, and was ambitious to Beereth, but he has got it. Morton to Sule with an interesting ball back to Collins. Kept possession, so I'm not too mad. Back into Beereth, out to Ramirez this time. Back to Beereth. Nice touch actually there from Beereth. Gone a bit wide, has to get it into the box. That's not a penalty, but it will only go as far as Stubbs. Morton, pay attention, Morton. And Curtis is in, and Roos has come out again. It's an easiest goal that Curtis is going to score. I need to check what Roos's tendency to come out is, because I swear to God every goal we concede is because Roos has come out of his goal. Rushing out tendency 12. It's not that high. It should be 20, because any time the ball gets anywhere near the box, he's out of his goal. I mean, his positioning's 9, so maybe combining those two together is part of it, but still, that was as close to a water bottle as I'm going to get, quite frankly. I wish water bottle was actually a viable option, and Ipswich did win. Oh yeah, Doncaster, there they are. 94th minute, 94. They nearly bottled it, I guess, but not as badly as we did. So they play Wickham, who are 5th next, and we play Fleetwood, who are 22nd, so hopefully we can flip this again on the final day. Perkins officially reconfirmed I am having to pay more wages, though, this time round. But in terms of FFP, he is under 21, so he doesn't go under that regardless. So I figured, okay to pay the wages. Financially, I mentioned after it, 75 grand in the wage budget. It's 1.5 million in the transfer. I'm not sure how I've been given that. I quite frankly prefer half of that and give me 720 grand for the scouting instead. Right, good team talk in regards to winning the title. Let's undo the damage that we've just done, please. And amusingly, as someone who has a vested interest in Lincoln, I am now relying on Danny Cowley to do something against Ipswich, as he is the Wickham manager currently. So Fleming was actually suspended for more than one game, which I wasn't aware of. But never mind, Beereth has also just been injured. Good timing. Good timing there, Beereth. That's what we like. So, Matt J's back. He comes in on the left-hand side. Temenezikov is back from injury. He's not fully fit. He's going to have to do it. Otherwise, unchanged. So, here we go. Final day of the season. Fleetwood, already dead and buried. But we all know how Football Manager works. We've gained the possession, however, from the kickoff. And now, 20 seconds into the game, Ramirez is going to be charging forward with whatever physical capabilities he's got remaining. Ints across the box. Perkins should have scored. That's tried and tested. Andrew. Here we go. 22nd, already relegated. Set piece. Clark surrounded by about 5 different Exeter players and none of them managed to head the ball instead of him. Sure. Dear SI, please sort out defensive headers. It's been a problem all game cycle. Just your players do not jump for the ball. For whatever reason, they just don't jump. It's not a case of jumping and missing it. They just don't jump, and Temenezikov will never not be hilarious how tiny he is in the game engine. But he has scored, so who's laughing now? Caprice there, just moving inwards a bit. Matt J. It's a bit confusing on the left-hand side, of course, because both of them are inverted. I maybe should put J on regular wide or get a left-footed player out there. But yeah, Temenezikov is onside and scores with a fantastic finish, actually. J isn't as capable on his left foot, so I don't really know what to do there. Caprice. Back to J. Temenezikov, Perkins, Ramirez. I mean, obviously, I could just bring an actual left back on, but Mbete will gather this. Morton. I'm just loving watching both the inverted wingback and the inverted winger making the same run there. I don't know if you noticed that in the background, but both of them did the same run around the final defender. In a position to encourage as this half whittles away, and it is a free kick for Morton. Perkins is there. Stop heading over. Right, so that wasn't great. They've scored with their only shot on target. Thrash arms, I'm far from pleased. Get back out there. I don't want to have to be angry for the final 2 months. Like, I feel like I've been angry in every single game except the Wimbledon one, which we won 4-1 out of nowhere, considering the draws that were either side of it. Now, got that 4-1. I was thinking, yeah, we're back here. And then 3 draws in a row afterwards. Like, Key's been woeful. McLaughlin on. Caprice hasn't been woeful, but I'm starting to feel like I might need an actual left back on. He's a bit tired. Should have only played Tomenzikov for 45 minutes. And Ince, pay attention, Paul. I nearly called him Paul there. Tom. Shows you how well that surname goes with name recognition, doesn't it? Morton. I mean, Paul, pay attention as well. I don't know if you're watching. Caprice. Morton. Across to Tom. Got his name right that time, and he said it over, though. I mean, a draw doesn't do anything for us regardless of results elsewhere. Lane puts this ball in. It's going to be a 2-1 to them. Oh, no, we've got it clear for now. Batty. I just saw a set piece. I figured it's going to be a goal. Jay's not had a good one. Sinclair's going to come on for the 3 minutes that remain. For some reason, I can't shout still. I was locked out of shouting for the final 20 minutes. I did a shout about half an hour from time, and then I just couldn't do anything after that point. Well, we've FM'd out the title, basically, but I'm not overly fussed. Ipswich didn't win. Oh, now I'm more annoyed. Score 1 goal, we win the title. Wickham did do the job, 1-1 for them. They actually finished 6th at the end. Bolton with a strong finish. That 4-1 against Wimbledon is even weirder when you consider the fact they're 8th. Like, it's not that they're struggling. I do wonder what the difference would have been if we'd had Beerith there. Well, season review, it's still a positive season, of course, even with that last day disappointment. They really liked Dunkley, and he actually did have a really good season quietly in the background. Started 16 games in the end just because of continual fitness problems for Stubbs and Mbete. Not injuries, just getting jaded from playing too many games. Mbete's physicals aren't fantastic. And pretty much the only thing that was stopping me from just redoing his deal as well. Because I feel like those physicals aren't going to cut it in the Championship. Don't have such issues with Perkins. 14 acceleration, 15 pace. He's got it for the Championship, as does Beerith, who I don't know if counts on this because I technically have had him for 2 years now. Yeah, Beerith's loan isn't being counted as a new arrival because he's been on loan twice. Got Sinclair now, 34. His physicals, again, aren't going to cut it in the Championship. Che Dunkley's probably just good enough to be a backup player in the Championship. But Roos is a question mark. He's averaged 6.97, which isn't bad for a goalkeeper. Their ratings are still a little bit lagging compared to the rest of the positions in the world. Good without being sensational. 52 goals conceded in 52 games. It's a goal a game, which feels about right. But of course they're delighted with that. They're not. Board expectation became mid-table at some point. It was obviously fight for relegation when we got promoted. But either way, we were about mid-table by the time the season started, and playoffs were considered, for me, a possibility. So automatic promotion, I'm happy with. Annoyed, especially because Ipswich drew on the final day and we could have won it. Wasn't to be. 7-1 against Northampton. 2-0 away at Bolton has been regarded as the best result, possibly. Yeah. And Sinclair's goal in that 7-1. Best goal of the season. No new deals, which... Sponsorship is up, but no sponsorship deal, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Broadcast revenue up a little bit. Corporate up a little bit. Competition down a bit. Match day up quite a bit. We are starting to max out our stadium more often than not now. Only towards the end of the season. So I don't think we're in a position to be doing anything stadium-wise, which is a bit frustrating because it's not going to cut it in terms of bringing in the finances going forward from here on. Going to need a bigger stadium, and I can't expand it because I don't think we own it. Because the only option I have under stadium right now is buy it, which I just went past the 11, but we can come back to that. That'll be somewhere else. Perkins player of the season, signing of the season is Dunkley. Goal of the season is Sinclair, as we just saw. Top goal scorer, Beerith with 27 in total. Most assists, Tom Ince. Like I say, what a recovery from Tom Ince. But Perkins, most player of the matches. Passes always goes to a centre-back. And 2 seasons in, 2 red cards for Ramirez, although he was never banned for the second red card, so I'm really confused about what happened there. Did become our oldest goal scorer, though. The overall best 11 has seen a lot of people entering. In fact, that appears to be just this season's team. Although Cameron Dawson remains first choice goalkeeper in it, and Giovanni Brown remains first choice right winger in it, and McLaughlin remains first choice right back. He did start the season for us, and he was the entirety of last season, so that one makes sense. But the entirety of the rest of that team is this year's 11. Tomenzikov joins the bench as well, along with Roos, of course. Scott Sinclair makes the bench too. So, they want us to play defensively solid football now, along with high-tempo pressing football and possession football. Possession, high-tempo we can do. Defensively solid entirely depends on Roos, quite frankly. And yeah, fight bravely, unsurprisingly, the objective. We are going to be over 3 million per year less on wages than anyone else. We'll discuss the plans, which is fight bravely, of course. Don't say we'll avoid being into one. We all know it's going to be tough for us next season, and we'll probably come back down, but I want you to know I'll be bringing in some new faces to try and keep us up. Fantastic. That's the one. That's the fight bravely, but with signings. Just to look at this season's best 11, it's as you would expect. Josh Key at right back, though, rather than Caprice, who was technically better over the course of the season, but I think Josh Key just made more appearances in the end. Otherwise, exactly as you expected. Once again, not a lot to add. Matt J did chip in with 17 goals. That went a little bit under the radar because of Beereth and Perkins, but 17 goals for Matt J. 11 for Scott Sinclair, which is possibly why he's entered that Dream 11 of all time for us. Tomenzikov did get 8 in the end in limited starts. Not a lot from central defence in terms of corners. I might need to look at those because I do feel like we concede more corners and we score. So there's definitely something to be tweaked there. Maybe Sam Stubbs, the main stalwart there in that defence, maybe he's not that tall, 6 foot flat. Yeah, maybe that's the issue. Maybe I just need to make sure we get the taller defender to go on that post. Yeah, 6'1" for Mbede. So neither of them are exceptionally tall for challenging those headers. And maybe that's the issue. Mbede probably not going to bring him back, even though he is good on the star rating front. Probably not going to get him back just because of those physicals. Brandon Fleming is out of contract with Hull. So whether or not they trigger that extra year, we'll see. But I'm basically riding my chances that he will be available to sign for free. I would like to have him back. He's good enough to be a championship player, in my opinion. Although he doesn't have a star on either side of this. But I think he could be our championship left back. Hull in the process of being relegated as well, if they don't do anything on the final day. So technically, he could be moving up a league. And Tyler Moore, I'm not really sure about. I don't think his physicals are good enough for the position. I think they are good enough for the division, but I don't think they're necessarily good enough for the position. I think I would like a little bit more pace and a lot more strength, quite frankly, from a defensive midfielder. Probably why he's not actually performed that well. He can play that position, but he's defensively not that great. Arguably, he would be challenging Perkins for that position, probably more the central midfielder attack role. He was better in League 2 than he was in League 1, so it does have me concerned that he's noticeably dropped off. But yeah, both wingers, highest assisters. Caprice ended up with 8 assists. Caprice started 19 games and got 8 assists, and bear in mind he did at least the last 3 as an inverted wingback and wasn't really in a position to assist as much. Kind of says a lot. Because Josh Key only ended up the season with 3 assists and he started a lot more games, and McLaughlin, similarly, 3 assists. Okay, McLaughlin started the same amount of games, but still, thereabouts. Like, between Key and McLaughlin, who started all the other games at right back that Caprice didn't, they got 6 assists between them, and Caprice got 8 in 19 starts, probably about 16 at right back. Instead of me continuing to ramble on about what might or might not happen, we only know for certain that 2 people will definitely be still in that first 11 at the start of next year. Beereth and Perkins, pleased to get them back, guaranteed for another year. 50 goals between the 2 of them. Please continue that in the championship. Until then, though, I will thank you for watching, and please comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and just pray for me next year, quite frankly, and for this transfer window. It's going to be fun. It's going to be stressful. Until then, thank you for watching. Ta-ra.